Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. I'm delighted to have you here today. I am your host, Tanvir, and today we have our guest, who is a Reiki master. And in previous session, we also know many things about Reiki, and she is none other than Ima Melanufi. Hi, Min.
Hello.
How are you doing? So, in the last session, we have discussed about what is Reiki, where it came from, the different type of Reikis and the lineages,
Mhm.
whether it is safe or not, and definitely it is. So there is a link in the description below, so you can check our first part. And today we will discuss more about learning Reiki, the levels of Reiki, attunement, and also a little bit about symbols, which we use in our Reiki session. Before we dive into our discussion, let's introduce our guest, Ima Melanofi. She is a renowned Reiki master, holistic and complementary therapist. And today we are really privileged to have you here, Ima.
Oh,
Would,
thank you, Tanvir. It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
yeah. Would you please kick off today's session, uh, more of a thing you can focus now that how someone can learn Reiki?
Hmm. Good question, Tanvir. So, there's more than one way to learn Reiki. In fact, within the Western tradition, there's also more than one way to learn Reiki.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably what I'm going to focus on, really. Within the Western tradition of Reiki, a person would normally find a Reiki master who would quite often be local to them, or they would travel to them as well under certain circumstances. But when you've done your research and found the right Reiki master teacher for you and found out that they're giving the course that's right for you, then you would sign up for a Reiki level one course with them and study with them. That's how you would begin your journey. Some people do offer Reiki 1 and 2 combined in one course, and that actually goes back to much earlier periods in Reiki's history as well. That's not such a modern thing, but it is a huge step up. So it's not quite so that it's not quite so popular with all teachers. Um, and there's another option, which is learning via the internet. There are an awful lot of online Reiki courses nowadays, and they can take different forms. Some of them are blended, where you would have Zoom meetings with the rest of your class or your Reiki master, and you would have modules to complete at home. And maybe you'd have a face-to-face meeting every now and again, or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you would just do the whole learning online with online recordable modules. But yes, they're the two options.
Yeah, I have a question. So, is
Mm.
it uh, same as efficient as being with the master in physical? If we go for the online uh, learning process?
I think for some people, they find it more convenient because they want to be able to study in their own time. Maybe they've got family commitments or work commitments that prevent them for going for a course all in one go. Because generally, the Reiki 1 course or Reiki 2 course would be a 2-day course. So it would usually be over 2 full days, quite often in one weekend or kind of one at one point and the other at another point. Um, in terms of what you would benefit from learning face to face, really, is that the teacher could check your understanding and explain things in a different way to you if you don't quite get the meaning, or if the way that they've described it to you or explained it to you isn't quite
Right.
right for you, because it's energy work. It's not like maths or something like that. And even with maths, you need different ways of explaining for different people. Also, there's the whole energy of the situation in the classroom. So that's also part of it. And if you are separate from your teacher, it can be a bit more difficult to establish that energetic rapport, that kind of relationship that supportive
Mhm.
relationship of master teacher and student, sorry.
Right.
So yeah, I hope that answers that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite interesting. So
Hmm.
I have some personal questions. So like
Yeah.
many of us might interested about whether I mean how to find a master. So if someone is interested to learn Reiki from you, so are you
Mm.
available to teach them Reiki through online?
I have given I've given a one of my courses as a blended course
Hmm.
where I would have conversations online with somebody who was very, very busy with a lot of um, home responsibilities and work responsibilities. And they really didn't have the time to just have 2 days or 5 days, or I think it was a master practitioner course.
Right.
So I would set her assignments, we would meet, there'd be practical elements. So it's a really nicely balanced course. And then we would meet up for tutorials, and I would give her achievements at the appropriate time during the course. Um, I think I would be interested in giving blended courses and in teaching the theory and helping people get their heads around Reiki online, and having some aspects kind of just up for people to download and type in and then get their marks. But I do feel like for me, I'm very much a people person, and I want to be there with the people and make sure that
Hmm.
I'm satisfied that I've communicated everything the right way, that they've picked it up and received it as it was intended. And it's just, it works better for me as a teacher to at least have that sort of level of face-to-face contact with people. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Ima. So in the description, you can find about more about Ima, and you can contact with Ima about course and Reiki stuffs as well. Let's go to the next question. So it is what should a person expect to start his or her Reiki journey?
Mm. So expect the unexpected is what I would say first up, always with Reiki. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, yeah. So basically, a Reiki journey is going to be different and unique for everybody because we're all different and unique. And it will depend on our background, our personality, where we are spiritually. All of our experiences make us who we are, and all of, yeah, basically. Um, Also, your teacher, where you are in your life, kind of the process of your life will make a difference. Um, it always involves personal development, always. It also always involves change. So even if you think it's not going to, even if you think, yes, this is just going to be the next step on my path, there are going to be things you'll need to let go of. There's going to be deep healing that happens because Reiki always wants to heal. And as soon as you get attuned to it, it kickstarts that healing process in ways that you couldn't possibly imagine or expect, because Reiki is the essence of healing, and it just takes you straight to the heart of the matter, and you just
Right.
learn so much.
Yeah. Without,
um, it,
sorry.
sorry.
Uh, so the thing is that without experiencing it, it's much more difficult to explain that how the things will work. But when someone get attuned, which we
Yeah.
will discuss in our next question, so
Mm-hmm.
after then they can experience it with their heart, with their feelings. But it is
Mm-hmm.
really hard to explain that how the journey would be. But definitely it would be very fantastic.
Yes. And it can be, yeah, it can be very vivid, or it can be very subtle. And
Right.
I always advise my students to keep a journal after the attunement process, after the course.
Hmm.
Keep a journal for at least the next month, because there will be a time in the future where you're going to want to go back and look at that, and things will start to make sense and fit into place, especially if you go on to do Reiki level 2,
Hmm.
because you might find similar strange things or unusual things happening and think, why is this happening? you look back and you see it happened the first time. It's just that so much changed and so much happened during your sped up spiritual and energetic evolution that you've
Mhm.
just forgotten it on the way because you have to stay present with where you are now, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll also potentially find a lot of your ideas around life, the universe, beliefs might get challenged by experiences that you'll have and things like that. So just be prepared to be led by Reiki is my, I guess, my take home message there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for shedding light on this topic. And
Mhm.
now let's discuss about attunement. What is
Mm.
attunement in the context of Reiki?
Yeah. So attunement is a way for a Reiki master teacher to be able to activate using Reiki to activate certain energy centers in the person and to open them up to be able to make a connection with Reiki and to receive Reiki themselves. The Reiki master teacher will create a special energetic space and conditions, and it's a process which is not shared. Um, it's something that's very special and very spiritual, and it opens the person to their own connection with Reiki. Everybody has a connection with Reiki already, but it's like now, yes, there's a really great analogy I've heard, which comes from Hawayo Takata,
Mhm.
and she would say it's as though you're a radio, okay, and you're not tuned into the channel. The music's there, it's coming along through the airwaves, and I'm the radio technician, and I come and I tune you in so that you can
Hmm.
receive and play the music. So
Right.
it was always there in you and flowing through you, but then you can play it so that you can hear it and everybody else can hear it too. And that's what it's like. So it's a bit like a mobile phone as well in that way, I suppose.
Yeah, you described it very beautifully. I mean,
Thank you.
it's just a tuning type of things, so which will make
Yeah.
us more focused and more tuned with the energy to
Mm.
use for the betterment of ourselves and for the others. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, along with that question, so uh, if someone uh, studied Reiki by himself or herself, and all those symbols and how the Reiki works, and if that person is not attuned, so
Hmm.
is the Reiki is going to work in the same way?
No. So if somebody learned about Reiki, the theory of it, but didn't have an attunement,
Mhm.
um, you can still use the techniques and the understanding of Reiki, but with other energies, as we discussed in the last
Right.
episode, I believe.
Yeah.
So you can connect with the chi that's around us in the air because we are surrounded by energy, we are energy.
Right.
Some people are natural healers and feel a connection to energy anyway, but it will be a different quality of energy and it will probably not be as strong.
Hmm.
The thing about Reiki is that it's very, very powerful,
Hmm.
and you also are unlikely to have that same kind of guidance or information that you get with Reiki because Reiki knows where to go. And that's also part of the um, learning as a healer and as a Reiki practitioner that you get with the attunement. So also it comes down to the fact that you wouldn't be attuned to Sui Reiki, so you couldn't really call yourself a Reiki practitioner, and the experience would be different. Partly because where we get Reiki from is somebody, i.e., Mikao Sui,
Hmm.
being enlightened, having an enlightenment experience on Mount Karama or
Hmm.
Satori. Unless you've been and had an enlightenment experience, you're not going to have the same kind of healing capabilities unless you've been attuned to the Sui Reiki.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes more sense. So, along with the attunement, so I have heard about there are different kind of levels, like level 1,
Mm,
level 2, master level. Could you please
yes,
give some light on those levels as well?
certainly. Thank you for asking.
You're
So
welcome.
level one, level one is the beginner's level. So
Hmm.
it is all about you and Reiki. You
Hmm.
get your connection to Reiki, and basically you're getting used to that. So you're using Reiki with yourself. You're getting used to listening to Reiki, to practicing with it a lot, to opening up your energetic pathways, to tune into your um, intuition more, and to just getting used to being an energy worker, and maybe meditate. It's best if you do meditate with Reiki as well.
Hmm.
So it's that personal development stage. You can use it for friends and family, but it's primarily about self treatment and self development at level one. Level two is the practitioner stage. And as I say, some teachers do teach level one and level two all in one go. This is not something that I would do. And in fact, the guidance that comes from the UK Reiki Federation and from, I believe, from the CNHC, which is the regulator for complementary therapies in the UK,
Hmm.
is that there should be at least 3 months between Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 because there's such a long period of adjustment, because you've got to get used to using Reiki for yourself and for others. Um, Also, in terms of the shock to the system, because it can be that big step up.
Hmm.
It's not there, or it's not there, and then it really is. You've got to just let yourself adjust to that. And some people just Reiki level one is perfect for some people because it's really powerful. Not everybody needs to or wants to go
You're
to
right.
level
Yeah.
two. And in Japan, in Japanese Reiki, it would be very much a case that people would be quite often at just level one for their whole the rest of their lives. So yeah, and at level two, you receive. So yeah, that's the practitioner level, the level at which you can be a professional Reiki practitioner, and that includes the training for that includes learning about three symbols: the power symbol, or the earth energy symbol,
Hmm.
the harmony symbol, or the heaven energy symbol, and the connection symbol, which is also sometimes called the distance symbol.
Right.
And each of those bring different qualities and different vibrational frequencies. They feel different when you're using them. And you not only learn what they are and how to use them, but you receive the capability and the connection to them during your attunement. So you can then use those symbols as part of your ongoing journey, as well as with your clients. And you'd also learn about ethics and practicalities and legal requirements and all those kinds of things that would set you up to be able to set up your own practice and start treating people for money. Um, then there's level three, and not everybody, very few people in Japan would go for level three. A lot of people nowadays go into Reiki and want to get to master level straight away, and that's kind of like end goal. That's where I'm going, without even having been attuned to level one. So it's like, whoa, hold your horses,
Yeah.
one step at a time. See how
Yeah.
you get on. But
Yeah.
yeah, you'll know when it's the right time for you. And I would advise just take your time.
Mhm.
It's a journey. It's not about a finish line,
Yeah.
because far from it. That really is. That's all about very deep healing. That's all about the really buried stuff. That's it's it's tough going. It's big, and it's also about making a very deep connection and commitment to Reiki in your life.
Yeah. So about the master level, could you please
Mm.
say a little bit more that one what one should expect in the master level?
Yes, so you learn the hidden teachings of Reiki. You learn about the nature of Reiki and the nature of who and what we are. Um, it's very deeply spiritual. Um, it is you learn the Reiki master symbol, at that level. And you also, if you're learning at the practitioner level, you wouldn't learn how to attune people. That would just be, you would use the master symbol
Right.
in your own practice. You probably wouldn't use it with clients really. You would just use it for yourself with your own practice, and you would be learning more advanced techniques. Um, and with the master teacher level, you would also learn and practice the attunement process. You would also learn how to teach people and all of the responsibilities that come with being a Reiki master teacher, and fulfilling your role as a Reiki master teacher, because it's a big responsibility. Um, I certainly take it as such, and when people learn with me, then I'm undertaking to work with them to step up their energy, to give them, and it's a very different sort of thing that you're supporting people through. You can have kind of identity crisis, existential crisis, because it throws your world upside down. So
Right.
um, yeah, but yes, it's really deep, and it takes a lot longer to do a Reiki master practitioner, master teacher level, or at least I feel like it should do, because you have to cover a lot more, and you have to learn a lot more, and you have to give yourself. I feel like it's best to undertake that in a kind of a retreat setting, or um,
Right.
a special separate space where you can adjust and you can go through that journey, because it is a journey.
Hmm.
That's like a journey in itself. Although some people do that as more of a kind of an apprenticeship.
Hmm.
So they will study with their teacher, they will assist their teacher, their Reiki master teacher, in delivering Reiki courses, and they will assist in giving the attunements, maybe, or observing the attunements. Um, so yeah, it does vary from teacher to teacher, but I learned it in a kind of a retreat setting, and that really was beautiful and worked really well for me.
Okay.
So yeah, I hope that has answered your question. Do you have
Yeah.
any other
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah. Like we are talking about symbols, so
Mm.
probably our audience will be more interested what those symbols are and how those are related to Reiki and how
Mm.
we can use those symbols.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to go into too much of what I would cover in a Reiki 2 or 3 course, but
Yeah.
so the first symbol is the Earth energy symbol, and it's really about um, it's the power symbol, and it can be used in cleansing spaces. It can be used in, it's a bit like the gas pedal. One of my former Reiki masters explained it as a bit like the gas pedal of the universe. It gets things done. It kind of smooths the way and helps things to flow as they need to, and helps remove blocks. So yeah, being super cheeky. Actually, it's kind of cheeky. It kind of isn't, because you can use these symbols in your day to day life in any way that you choose to, and they will only ever work for the good. So you don't need to worry about that. But one thing that I've done, and it's really effective, is when I'm going down the motorway in my car and there are traffic jams, or I can see snarls, I will just use the symbol, the power symbol, and I will kind of visually flick it down the motorway ahead of me a few times. And then, lo and behold, cars start to move into lanes, and it starts to open out, and it all starts to go nicely and smoothly. And it just, even in rush hour traffic. So that's really awesome for that, amongst many other things.
Yeah, right. So people who are at least attuned with the level one Reiki, they can also experience the same things which you were just told. So it's not about healing ourselves or healing others, but we can also use it to make the situation better.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. And there are different ways that you can do that. At level 1, you wouldn't have the symbols,
Hmm.
but you could. write down your intention, what you would like to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and you could fold up the piece of paper and you could just hold it in your hands and give Reiki to it. You could use visualization. You could visualize in your mind an object or a person that's to do with the situation, or something that makes you connect with those same feelings that you have around the situation and what you would like for it. And you could just imagine sending Reiki to that. Visualization is a really powerful thing, not because of you imagining it, but because that act and you imagining it does something to your own energy,
Right.
which is the real essence of what you're doing there. So
Right.
yeah, so that's the power symbol, and the harmony symbol, which is also called the mental healing symbol, is all about helping to break negative patterns. It's about helping to make kind of habits that are not helpful, helping to just ease them and smooth them. The way it looks actually illustrates that really beautifully. And I'm not going to draw it for you, but if you're level 2, then you'll know that. And you can use it for people who have issues with mental health, so kind of anxiety, or people who are going through difficult personal times. It can be really helpful to use under those circumstances.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's valuable information for those who are considering learning Reiki. And today's last questions for you. Does a Reiki practitioner need to feel or sense whether the Reiki is working during a session?
The answer to that is no, absolutely they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a number of different reasons why a person would not feel Reiki that I know of. But so if you're very new to Reiki, you might be you may be developing your sensitivity to Reiki, so you might not feel the flow as strongly as you would do later on in your journey.
Right.
If you are later on in your journey and you normally would feel Reiki flowing, and it's perfectly normal to have times where you would not feel it flowing, and that could be because of certain things, like for example, maybe the person receiving, maybe it's very private to them and they don't want to share things about what's going on during the treatment with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just them and the Reiki, and you're there. You just have to trust that it's flowing, that it's going to where it needs to go, and just listen to your intuition and trust and let it flow and be open. Don't worry about it, would be my advice. And another reason why you might not feel the flow is if you're going through stuff yourself, and if receiving the information or feeling the flow of Reiki with whatever quality it has going to the person, if that would disturb you or be too much for you, or if it's not right for you to feel that, then you wouldn't, because it only ever works for the greatest and highest good. So yeah, they're the main reasons why a person wouldn't feel the flow of Reiki. But there's another one, and that's the fact that not everybody experiences intuition in the same way. Just as some people are more visual learners, some people are more audient learners, some people are more kind of to do with ideation. We've all got our own strengths. Not everybody is going to feel it strongly in their palms or in their bodies. Some people just have ideas or images. Some people find that their hands just want to go somewhere. And you learn to work with your own strengths, and that's how you kind of develop. It's not to say that you won't ever feel it like that, because you
Mm-hmm.
might,
Mm-hmm.
but not everybody works with and uses Reiki in the same way. So if you find that you experience it differently from other people, please don't ever feel like that's something you're doing wrong or something to be worried about, because we are all different.
Right. Right. Yeah. Thank you, Ima, for addressing all those questions today. So,
You're
do
welcome,
you have
Tanvir.
anything to? So, Ima, would you like to say something before we wrap up the session?
I would just like to thank you again for inviting me. And yes, if you are interested in learning Reiki and if you feel drawn to it, I would strongly recommend that you go for it, and always find a Reiki master who resonates with you, because follow your heart, as well as the credentials.
Right. Yeah. So, in our next session, we will deep dive into spirituality and dowsing. It is a profound gateway to tap our psychic ability. Before we wrap up, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more insightful conversation. Your engagement keeps us going. Thank you all for being part of today's engaging conversation. Until our next session, stay curious, stay open minded, and keep exploring the wonderful world of spirituality. This is Tanvir signing off. Bye.